Yes, yes,
Right.
yes, people. Good evening for most, good afternoon for some, and good morning for the rest of the year. It's the Armoury TV. It's your boy Canners. It's me, Gumsa. We're back with another great episode. We're gonna get into the intro video, and we're gonna get into it. Yes, people. It's the Armory TV. It's Gumsa. I'm joined with the host with the most, Mr. Canners. How you keeping?
I'm good, man. I was watching that intro with a massive grin on my face, man.
It's one of
Oh,
the best ones we've had in it. You know what Tony's like.
I
Tony just springs one on you. I've got a new video. You're like, yeah, see what he's doing this time. And yeah, this was one of
yeah,
my favorites.
he's been
Even the
cooking
music.
Eddie-esque, boy. We call him Eddie now,
Yeah.
innit? Where he's been cooking.
How you been anyway? How's things?
Yeah, good, man. It's just loads of personal stuff going on, but still finding the time to do all things Arsenal too, man.
Definitely.
And obviously we'll get crack-a-lacking into the stadium and being there and everything. But yeah,
Have
it's
you
just
have
been
you
busy, man.
what's it like that feeling? Obviously you was at the game yesterday. You're one of the fortunate
Oh.
ones that's got the season ticket. I know I didn't even watch it properly, and still like on the
Oh,
drive home and stuff. I haven't stopped. Even this
you have to
morning, I
get
woke up
nuts
and
on the drive.
yeah, honestly, and even this morning, my friends woke up said I've watched Match of the Day 3 times this morning. Like, have you
I've got to
come
watch it.
down off
Actually, I've got
cloud
to catch
nine
it.
yet? Yeah, have you come? Do you reckon you've come down off cloud nine yet? Are you still kind of on a high after yesterday's
Do you
game?
know what the funny thing is? I don't think I've seen too much of it on TV to kind of like. I don't know. I don't. It just seems like it's just another victory kind of thing. However, during the time in the stadium, it was such an atmosphere, man.
Mm.
It was amazing. But
Let's get
yeah,
onto that
I need to
straight
watch
away.
Match of the Day. I need to watch Match of the Day. That's what I need to do to kind of like
Let's do it.
Normally I watch Match of the Day, after a win on a Sunday with a cup of tea, Rosie Lee and Star Slippers, and soak it all in, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm cool now. Yeah,
I
yeah,
was there for it. Let's get into the
exactly.
atmosphere though, because obviously you go on a regular.
Oh,
Um, Anna Smith's put this tweet out. I believe it's a tweet or he's said it somewhere. But controversial opinion: the Emirates creates the best atmosphere in the Premier League. Now, who better to answer it? You're there week in, week out. Where would you rank
um,
us at the moment in terms of atmosphere?
do you know what the funny thing is that the new song that is now kind of like our you never walk
National anthem.
alone. Yeah, at the start of the game, that gets us going. It really does. It was it's such a great choice of song to get you going. And do you know what? The place right now, and it has been since I've managed to get the season ticket, which is the back end of 21. The place is just it's just rocking, man. It's just a different place. Even more so now. The game against Fulham as well. What was the whole atmosphere was great as well.
Mm.
Even though we drew that game in the end, but when we got to go 2-1 up, everyone was going absolutely bananas. The whole place and everything. But yesterday's one, when we went 2-1 up, and it was everyone realized it was Declan Rice. The whole place, it was like the roof just came
Mm.
off and everything, and it was just like it was brilliant. It was absolutely fantastic. Just the noise, it
Yeah.
is absolutely, it's deafening. It really is. It's
And,
it's great.
and this is one of the things I keep saying to people when you have your Arteta outers. I still can't believe there's Arteta outers out there. A lot of people question him and some of his decision making. Yes, he has a way of doing things. Yes, it's kind of he's controversial. He stands on his principles. He stands on his guns. He will be judged by it, but he's brought us such a long way. The fact that we're upset that
Oh
we lost the
man, it's
Premier League,
chalk
the
and
fact we're
cheese.
upset that we haven't won 4 out of 4 at the start of the season, like we're upset that we're not where City are, and it's like what Pep's done with City is something I haven't really seen in my lifetime. I've seen great Man United teams, great Chelsea teams. This
Yeah.
City team something different, and yeah, it baffles me because again, I think back to going to the Emirates when Wenger was there and the atmosphere. You could see the goal and it goes flat. The toxicness, the fighting in the stands. Then even when under Emery, it was bad.
Oh
You know what I mean? There was no optimism. Like I know you always say it's the hope that kills you, but at least there's some optimism. So when we do go 1-0 down and we get back, it means something. When you like you said against
yeah,
Fulham, we're beating Fulham 2-1. We should be beating Fulham 2-1 at the time, but
yeah,
it means something because the bigger picture is we're trying to challenge for trophies. So it,
absolutely,
it,
absolutely. It's the whole culture and the whole kind of the mindset. It's been a culture reset
mm,
in that place. It really has. Like scanners.
yeah.
Oh, that was a typo. Flipping heck.
Yeah, he's
I,
done it twice, so it's not a typo.
How you doing, Tony? But yeah, listen, I think oh yeah, absolutely. I don't leave early
I don't
anymore.
feel for them. I don't feel for them because you shouldn't be leaving early,
So what? Yeah, I used to
especially
kind of
against
like
United.
think, listen, um, do you know what? Yesterday, just I had so many kind of like points, in the stadium. I mean, like obviously with the goal, Rashford goal, the whole place went quiet, and you could see, the United fans going absolutely mental. They're going mental, and then about 30 or 45 seconds later, fantastic goal. The equaliser. First of all, how you doing, Geeks of Muckleby? How you doing, mate? The place is just rocking. When that went in, everyone jumped up. Everybody, it was like when people jump up in school, when they scored a goal for the celebration.
Mm,
People in front of me were doing just that, just absolutely
really,
going nuts. Yeah, even but I'm not gonna lie, I even
I can
done a
imagine
punch.
you.
Yeah, the guy next to me now as well. We're proper buddies now. We're like
Yeah,
each other and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
It's just nuts, man. It's just crazy. And then there was just so many kind of like highs and lows in that game, and it was just like when Garnacho's goal went in,
mm,
the place just went. It was like the
that,
air had been sucked out of
yeah,
everyone because it's like, how the hell are we losing this game?
mm, mm,
And then all of a sudden, because I'm lucky enough to have the seats that I have, I'm literally just below the boxes.
mm.
You heard a cheer in there.
Right.
You just here we go, yeah. It was like, what's going on? What's going on? Because obviously the VAR thing was going on, the VAR check, and
Yeah,
then you hear them in there. They go, yeah, and we're like, what's going on? Maybe it's disallowed. It must be.
yeah,
Before the decision come on, because obviously they got the Sky
yeah.
TVs
So
in
it
their
shows you
box.
the line. The lines
And it
came
shows the
out.
lines,
So
and
yeah,
they're all cheering and everything, and then it just like it kind of domino effect, kind of rippled around, and the whole place went nuts. The Man United supporters just went like, because they were going absolutely
yeah,
crazy when Garnacho scored, absolutely crazy, singing, doing all the pointing,
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
going nuts, and then disallowed. Offside, the whole place went mental again. So we just like, just so much relief, man.
Yeah, and
Listen,
do you know, it's quite funny because even at that time there, it's like it's a let off. Let me just take 1-1 and get out of here. And this is what's the beauty of this Arsenal team. And again, it is football is changing with these 10, 15 minutes extra at the end of the game. When you see an 88, it's still a lot of football to play after that. So
yeah.
we go on to the end, and yeah,
That's I think with the thing with Rashford scoring, and the thing is, I don't know whether that was. I guess at some point you'll probably be able to break. I don't know if that was bad defending or great attacking play. I don't know, but it just
Who
seemed
you
like
think is bad defending by? Because I've got my take on it, and we
I
all know
think
Havertz
it.
gave the ball away. But
Well,
let
I
me know
think
what
they
you've
were
got.
both culpable. And because the thing is, it's like, why is Saliba? He's literally in line of White, and I'm thinking, why? Just step a little bit to your left. And
I,
he,
I, I was going to say I think exactly the same thing. I watched it and I said, why has he gone to protect
he's
that side?
directly behind him.
White's positioned himself on purpose to say you can't come inside, go down. And if Rashford goes down on the left side and scores with his left foot, you have to put your hands up and say fair play. But
Yeah.
you're going to take the opportunity to either let him go on his left or right. You've got to let him go on his left. And Saliba cut the left off, which then opened up the right massively for him. And so I am in agreement with you.
Oh,
Havertz is obviously going to take most of the blame for giving the ball away, but even after that, you have to defend it a bit better.
absolutely.
And yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Saliba got caught in a terrible position.
Yeah, I just think because if you look at it, it was like he was directly behind White every step of the way. I'm thinking, just take one step to your left, and that would have cut out that angle for him to kind of. But look, look, fair play to Rashford. He scores goals against us all the bloody
his
time,
record
and
against us is a joke.
yeah, well, I think we just need to buy him to stop that.
Yeah, he's one of the players where you just want him to leave the league. Same as Harry Kane,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. Oh, Harry Kane's gone now. Salah next, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Firmino's gone as well. That fills me with joy because he always scores against us.
absolutely. Next one, what's his? It Jota. He always scores against us.
He always.
Well,
There's a few, but it's a sweet moment. And do you know what the funny thing is? So I said, I don't know if you know, I went to Fort Park yesterday. I told the story on the kind of stream I had with Mr. B about when I went to Fort Park years ago and I kicked off a fuss. I made everyone leave, not Fort Park, sorry, Alton Towers. I made everyone leave early because the Arsenal game was on and I was like, I want to go pub and watch it. So I made everyone leave Alton Towers, big group of us. We went to the pub and it was the 8-2 thrashing. So we're in Manchester, watching it there. So I've booked tickets to go Fort Park, not realizing United game was on. I'm like, I've got to go through this again. I was like, if I get everyone to leave, we're going to get beat. So I'm like, I'm not going to do it this year. I'm going to stay in Fort Park and watch it on my phone. And
there's little things in it. There's little kind of mind things you do for yourself in it.
Yeah, but if I leave the park, we're going to get beat. So I'm staying in, but I'm watching on my phone. And so there's bits and bobs I'm missing, whatever. But I've got to a ride. And just as we get there, Garnacho scored. So I'm stressing out. As we're going through the ride, I've got my phone in my hand and the signal cut because you go like inside one of them buildings. So I'm now we're on one of them thrill seeker rides. You know, like the actors are running up to you trying to scare you. I'm not even
just watch Arsenal, mate, for your thrills.
I'm just angry. I'm just waiting to fight someone. And I walk out of there, look on my phone, and it says 2-1 Arsenal. I'm like, just started screaming in the middle of Fort Park, thinking, what the hell's happened? Like, I thought I refreshed it again, thinking, have I read that wrong? Like, it's 2-1 United.
Yeah.
I've refreshed it again, and it's 2-1 Arsenal, and that was it. I've literally run out of the building. I've jumped up on the there were some picnic benches. I jumped on top of those. Like, they got CCTV in there. They see me doing the madness. And there was a couple in front of me. There was a couple of Arsenal fans and a couple of United fans, and they're all watching their phone as well. So obviously, I'm the last one to come out, so I've seen it last. So as I come out, I just jumped on the table. The Arsenal fans are just screaming and jumping with me, and then Jesus scored. So yeah, it was amazing. Again, it's one of them moments where I'll never forget because of the way I've watched it. And normally, I'm always sat watching the Arsenal.
That's hard. That's hard.
Yeah,
that is so hard.
But yeah, because I can only imagine what it was like for you being there, man. It's
absolutely. It's. Do you know what I feel? Yeah, fair enough, it is expensive, but I feel lucky. I feel kind of blessed to be able to get one and go there and just witness actually what's going on. Yeah, sometimes I mean, the Fulham game is a bit kind of like deflated or whatever. Everybody left a bit kind of like, ugh. But yeah, since then we picked up the 6 points, and yeah, I think what we're doing right now. Fair enough. We're not even properly clicked into gear yet.
No, we're not clicked.
And do you know what? As bad as it sounds, and I don't know if you check it, but every time last season we didn't have Thomas Partey for a big game, we lost or we drew.
Yeah. Remember there was that record where he hadn't actually lost a game, or we hadn't lost when he was on the pitch. I think we lost twice, and he came off injured or came off, and then we conceded. It happened once in the cup.
But
have to think.
yesterday
Yeah.
was the first time we played really, and I thought we didn't miss him.
Yeah,
The
I
only
agree.
tweak I would probably make with that first 11 from yesterday, obviously once Jesus is fit, because straight away you just see what he does when he comes on. I mean, no disrespect to Eddie, because he's done admirably well. He's done brilliant, but Jesus is just a class above, and probably changing Havertz. Maybe I'd even say right now Vieira deserves a chance. If not, then start looking to get Smith Rowe integrated into that team
The thing is,
in that particular position.
we have options there because again, quick to our
Absolutely.
Smith Rowe. Again, Vieira's come on. He's done himself no harm with his last two performances.
Every time he's come on,
He's made an
goals
impact.
have happened.
Yeah, he's made an impact. So
Every time he's come on, we've scored goals.
So he
And you can only do what the manager says. Go on and change the game for us.
Yeah,
And he's done that
100%.
on both occasions.
And again, people are forgetting as well, we've got Jorginho there, so he could easily sit in the sixth role and then we free up Declan Rice a bit and he plays next to him.
I keep forgetting about Jorginho.
Yeah, there's good players there. And even Trossard, we haven't really played him in that position, but I still feel he probably could play.
I think there might be something going on there with Trossard and Arteta.
Yeah, it's funny he didn't get on yesterday.
Yeah, because if you realise against Fulham, he got hooked at half time.
Yeah, and Reece Nelson came on like yesterday, and obviously Trossard didn't. Trossard's normally the first wide sub.
Yeah.
But again, what Nelson done again in that game, he wasn't on for long. But even that performance is like every time he does come on, he shows us something, and he's knocking on the door to say, "I want more minutes." And it bodes well to see him and Vieira. Do you know what I mean? Because they were at the brink of extinction at one stage, and to see them come back and repay the manager's faith, and just offering that challenge. Like I don't think anyone, like you said, I don't think anyone would complain if Fabio Vieira started the next game. And go back last year when he did start a game, was it Bournemouth? We conceded really early. Bournemouth.
Everyone was like,
everyone's Vieira's fault. Do you know what I mean? So it's just football's a miracle thing, and it could
Listen,
be
he's had a year to get used to the English game and the way we play, and to integrate himself, to settle down. And I think he's done that. And I think right now we're seeing a settled player now. And I think we should see, and he does he looks stronger and he looks more confident as well when he's on the pitch. He wants the ball. He constantly is doing that, with asking for the ball. But I was just going to say, let's rattle through some of these comments, man.
Yeah, I'm going to get through to them now before we move on. But to be fair, we're going to touch on this one. But big up Geordie, big up yourself. But Bart is a serious fan. Good evening. Arsenal were the better side, but the scoreline flatters them. Nevertheless, they have now won the last 5 games versus United at home. Do you think the scoreline flattered us? Did you see it as a 3-1 game?
Yeah, it did. I don't think if you'd not watched the game and you saw 3-1, you would have thought, okay, seems comfortable enough. But it wasn't anything. It was anything but comfortable. Rashford is a freaking threat. Every time he gave White a problem. Every time, we actually did quite well, really, to kind of like restrict him to some points. But every time he got the ball, it was.
Yeah, I remember going to watch it last year, and it was every time he picked up the ball, you hold your breath, thinking, please, please, please get around him, you lot. And he does something about Arsenal. He just turns it on, doing.
He turns into prime R9 or something. Flipping heck. It's just like, what he's going to do. But the thing is, and you can see that White is trying to defend him, But I don't know. He obviously had a plan. But my thing is, with someone like Rashford, do you engage him before he gets into the box, or do you try and leave as least amount of space between the player and where he is and the goal line, because then that kind of like closes up the space kind of thing. It's such a difficult one because he's so tricky, man. I was just watching him every time he was running at White. I was thinking, engage before the penalty area. I was thinking, actually, man, if he beats him, he's got so much.
He skipped me. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost like you just got to try and slow him down and wait for backup. That's all you really
can do. Exactly. So it was kind of like that was they had a plan to play on a counter attack, and Rashford obviously and Anthony were the two outballs basically.
Yeah.
but yeah, it wasn't. I admit it wasn't a 2-1. I think we just about deserved to win it.
We were definitely the better team. However, United set up that way. I can't say we just bossed them.
Yeah.
United set up, and they have set up like this against us for a long time. We're sitting, you lot got to break us down, and we will catch you on the countdown. Your Arsenal,
we played like that against City, but we executed in the Charity Shield. But we executed that plan a lot better than what United did.
But I think against City, we did. There was moments in the game where we did dominate and created. Whereas I think every time
it's after 20 minutes, after 20 minutes in that game,
yeah. But it's almost like the 2 goals kind of woke us up, though. So you feel obviously they scored, we scored a minute later. They scored, and within 7 to 10 minutes we scored again. So it's like we almost needed them to score the goals to kind of, maybe just take a bit of the handbrake off. We were not saying we played safe, but sometimes it needs that re-energizes you, that gets you going.
We scored at the perfect time, because had that gone another few minutes, they were so set. It would have been a difficult day at the office. But that goal we scored, oh my God. I don't know if you have or you haven't. If you've not watched it again, just watch out for Martinelli's flick. And then after that, it's all about the one-touch football.
And it's the weight of pass as well, so important. It's so important. But and
I was kind of like right behind that going on. As soon as you saw excuse me, Martinez touched, the whole place went, seriously, because it was that good. And even after, when the goal went in, Zinchenko ran up to Martinelli as if to say, that was your goal. Because from that touch, the whole thing just opened up. It was such a listen, guys, if you're watching, watch that touch again and how it just opens up the whole thing. And that's what creates the goal.
100%. And sometimes you need someone to take that risk to offset the defense.
And it was halfway line. Had it not come off, the crowd would go, what are you doing?
Especially after just conceding. So and this is with the risk, isn't it? And sometimes with footballers, and we get onto them when they make a mistake, but without those moments, it's very hard sometimes to break down stubborn teams, and it needs someone to do a little bit just to
something out the
open the game up. And it just opens up the pitch a bit, and now we can get going. So we're gonna keep rattling through the comments. Big up Tony Philbrook was playing golf and Rice scored, jumping up and down.
That Rice goal was going to be that JFK in it. Where was you when Rice scored that goal? Because I tell you what, flip's sake, my kids told me, because obviously they watched it on the box and they were going nuts. So everywhere, and who heard or saw that goal, whatever, probably did exactly the same thing.
Definitely. We got a Spurs fan in the house. Bart is a serious fan. Maddison's been signing of the season so far. What a masterstroke! I haven't thought about who signed the season so far, but he has started well. I was going to put him in my dream team, but I don't want a Tottenham player in there. And I'm kicking myself because he's delivering week in, week out. But
I actually put Tottenham players, certain Tottenham players in my dream team just so they do shit. So because my luck is that I've got a rubbish fantasy football team, but you saw the points that I got in last week. Ridiculous.
You done well.
I've got well over 100 points.
There's a lot of hat tricks this weekend. That's why. So you had Son and Haaland in there.
That's the thing. I had Son, Ferguson, and Haaland.
No way. Anyway, so that's enough of that.
I tell you, G Talks didn't have a chance.
Yeah. That's horrible. Especially if you had one of them captains, because Haaland just stays my captain, to be fair. So,
Haaland's my captain, and Son's my vice.
Exactly. Big up Geeks and Muckleby. He would have preferred Maddison Tabbs. That one did surprise me because he was cheaper. We've been linked with him before, but I do think the bigger picture is we could use Havertz as the striker if need be. We may see that come into effect maybe a bit later, but
I don't know. Do you think that's so? I'm actually a bit worried about the signing. I'm not going to lie.
Are you?
Yeah, because I was watching his body language, watching him play, and he's so bereft of confidence, man.
Yeah, he's confident. Even that when that fell to him, 9 times out of 10, even if the keeper saves it, you just put your laces through that. And
even for the penalty, a confident player would have gone through the middle, with that touch, and it was a good touch. A
Mm,
confident player would have been confident. Bearing in mind as well, it's on his left foot, would have gone up and
mm.
got a strike off rather than going down for the penalty, but he went for the easy way out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And such is life, is that it wasn't given.
Mm,
But
mm.
that's a question. So we had all the things on Sky Sports, and it'll be interesting for the guys in the comments as well, in terms of the let's try and take our rose tinted glasses off, right, for this. But my view is, if that was against me, I wouldn't say, that's not a penalty and stuff or whatever, because or if it's for me, I'm shouting penalty.
Yeah.
Reason being because he's in front of them and he has been clipped.
There
His
is
touch has
touch.
been,
There is contact. It
it's a
was
touch.
very, very similar to
Now,
Rashford's
so
against
my
Wolves.
question is, right, how can, because then you're looking at the VAR and anti-Taylor then are making then an assumption that it's not hard enough to, or enough of a tackle or of a touch to send you down. But the thing is that if you're off balance, you're off balance, and if
Balance,
that
yeah.
makes you off balance, how can you get a strike off?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's quite funny because that whole thing with the balance that came into me with Saka's yellow card. Did you see it? Because he's fouled, and then he tries to win the ball back because he obviously the whistle hasn't been blown
Yeah,
at that second, and then he hits Bruno Fernandes quite high. It was
yeah.
quite high, but
It
without the
wasn't high.
foul,
It was bad. It was
yeah,
bad. It was studs up on the ankle.
yeah.
It
So
was.
it
It
just
was
seemed
like,
mad to get a yellow card, even though you got the free kick. It does seem mad, like, do you know what I mean? So it's one of those ones with Havertz as well. It's you can't replicate being touched. I can't look at it because when you're running at pace, it's completely
yeah.
different than if I've got my feet planted and I'm shielding a ball. I can take a lot more contact in that moment. But if I'm running, the slightest thing can hit me. If I haven't got my other leg planted, that I could go. It was very similar to Rashford, and my problem was with it is, was it a clear and obvious error by the referee? Because what we've seen a
No,
lot of is
but
things
that's
don't get
exactly the
overturned.
thing. That's the terminology, right?
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is
If
the terminology is
it's
wrong.
a clear and obvious mistake by the referee, and was it?
Mm. I don't think it was a clear and obvious mistake because there was
No.
contact. I think if the referee doesn't give it, then it's not a penalty, and I don't think VAR should then overturn it and say you've made an obvious mistake. It is a penalty. To me, it was quite soft. But was there enough evidence to say you've made a mistake? And
But
I
who
think the
knows? Who
situation.
knows how that knocked him off balance?
Yeah,
How
yeah,
can
yeah.
they? How can VAR and anti-Taylor say no? That's not enough to knock him off balance,
Mm.
even though he did
And
kick him and he was going at full pelt.
yeah, I think also with VAR, I think they need to review things in real time. When you slow things down, things
It
can
looked
look
worse,
worse,
didn't it?
or it could then look like I was not much in it because we're seeing a slight little touch and we're going slow motion. At full speed, you will speak. You could then see, oh, that actually has off balanced in whatever it is. And I feel again to make it like make it a clear replica of what the referee's going through. It has to be done at full speed because the referee's watching it that quick. To slow it down is now not the same for you as the referee. So
Yeah.
part of the referee's decision making is because it's in that action in the heat of the moment. You can now see a bit more of the intent because everything's moving at a higher speed. Whereas you
Yeah.
slow it down, it's like I could make a challenge, miss it. So even like you know what I'm saying. You know, if you're running through and someone dangles a leg out, you might jump over it and go. Yes, there's no contact, but actually the intent has made me go over. So
But yet
again,
touched
that
him.
needs to be looked at. Yeah, do you know what
It's still they'll still blow for a foul, but they wouldn't give a penalty for that, though, would they?
No, 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 and that's the part of the problem. Whereas sometimes you could actually have contact, but it has less impact on you. Do you know what I mean? Than actually hurdling a challenge. So yeah, big up geeks. Um, yeah, I like Rashford.
It facts.
Geeks is also saying about earlier. I agree. Trossard seems to lose his way
Yeah,
after not starting after a bright
I think.
preseason.
I think geeks. I think there's something going on there because
Mm,
after he was hooked at, I reckon something must have happened in that change room at
yeah,
half
it
time.
probably might be. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because,
guys with the
uh,
comments, I'm loving all of it. We are rattling through them. So if we don't get to read some out, they will scroll up along the bottom of your screen. But can't read. But final thoughts. Yeah, we was talking about Havertz, weren't we? You saying you're quite
yeah,
worried about him. What do you
yeah.
think
I'm
the
not
next
giving up
stage
on
is
him.
for Havertz?
Uh, and Tony, I know you said don't give up on Havertz. I'm not giving up. I'm just worried about it because his body language.
Mm.
If you see footballers and you play football or whatever, someone's like body language and stuff, whether they're up for it. I mean, you
Yeah.
can see straight away. Someone like you look at Vieira, Fabio Vieira, and you look
Mm.
at you got two ends there of the
The spectrum,
of the
isn't it?
spectrum
Yeah.
of confidence, literally,
Mm.
um, and it's just a shame. Straight away when Rashford scored, I don't know if they panned back to him, Havertz, but I don't know if you saw what he did.
Nah.
He knew straight away as he was on his knees, and he was just like,
Yeah.
he just,
Yeah.
yeah, he knew, he knew it was his fault.
It's
He was on his he was crouched down, and yeah, he was just like, bam,
mm.
yeah, he knew straight away that was him. That
if
was on
if
him.
if you're Arteta, what do you do? Because sometimes you could save him. Arteta could save him for a bit. It's not to say he
Do you know
won't
what?
become
It
first
might,
team player,
yeah,
but sometimes you've got
I
to take him
think,
out the firing line. There's too much.
yeah, I think, he's got one more game. We've got Everton right
Yeah.
away.
Do you know
Um,
he might be better at the moment, Champions League, something like that. So it's still important
or
games,
even
but
Carabao or
the
whatever,
style's
playing
different.
that, just kind of like get used to, kind of get your confidence back.
Mm.
Because at the moment, man, you got someone who's got some crazy morale in Vieira. Start
Yeah,
playing him,
yeah.
man. See what
Play
he's
him,
like coming on at the start. I've not
yeah,
seen him in those last two cameos that he's come on. I've not seen him like that, and
yeah,
he seems to be able to cope with the physicality of the game as well. So
yeah.
yeah, he's got a lovely left foot,
We
man.
got options, and it is a case of sometimes take him out the fire. For me, take him out the firing line. The fans didn't like the signing straight away. There was a lot on him
Yeah,
straight away. So actually, take him out the firing line. Put your arm around and say, listen, just get to learn the system. He's playing a complete new role than he's played before. Well, since he's come to England. So let him embed in, give him some time. I don't think it's going to be a bad sign. I think he's going to come good. Um, and give him time because we have seen how players can turn their fortunes around at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? So
oh,
you just have to give
absolutely.
time. You just have to give him time, but it's not helping at the moment because everything he does, it is microscope. Because
He's.
Saka
I'm
missed a
watching.
glorious chance,
Oh, he
but
missed two.
and no one's gonna speak about it as much as we speak about Havertz just because
He's
of
got
who he is.
credit.
And he's
He's
got
got
credit, and I understand that.
an
I do understand it.
enormous. Yeah, but he should have
But
scored two. He
yeah,
should have.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think Arteta needs to do him a favor for a bit. Take him out the firing line. Um,
Oh,
let
was
him
that
slowly build.
Dallo who went?
Yeah, it's Dallo
Uh,
who went sliding across. Yeah. Um, but yeah, like let's move on from this game anyway.
oh, that was funny, man. That
Yeah,
was
he did. He
my
went
man had to
sliding.
pay to come back in, and Tony's meme with him going to the sun, flipping
Yeah.
heck in
Um,
different galaxies.
I'm just gonna put this one up. It was not a pen. I feel it was harsh. Yeah, I do agree. I don't think from the back end it didn't like a pen. But I'll have to say, weird one. Front easy pen, back few no. And it was literally both angles looked so different. I think I don't really care. To be fair, it's one of them ones because
I
we won
don't
the
care.
game
I
anyway.
mean, I don't care. The
But
game's
it's
done, whatever.
yeah,
However, there is the question though. I mean, because I know these United fans are really kind of felt hard done by about the offside.
yeah. And
Now
even they
we
said
kind
they
of
should
had
have had
a
a
similar
penalty.
thing, didn't we, with John Stones and the header against Man
Hmm.
City?
Yeah, we
Is
we
it?
we we've been on the back of them a lot,
Yeah,
on the wrong end of them a lot.
and
Um,
I think maybe the law, the gods of the law of averages come out in our place. Because listen, the one against Man City, I thought was straight offside. When John
yeah,
Stones
yeah,
scored
yeah,
that header. But they gave that one offside. Is it a case of the angles? Are they actually? How are they plotting
no,
these angles? Because
it's
when I
mad. But
look at it, and are they implementing the new, um, where you have to be offside with a part of your body that can
to
actually
score with,
score it.
yeah.
Now, apparently, it was his hand.
I don't, you know, I didn't even care. I
I
haven't
don't
watched it
care
back that
either.
much, but United fans are going to find every agenda. I remember there was one last year Arsenal had where the angle was at a funny angle. you couldn't see when the man actually kicked the ball because they only focused on the player. So he could have kicked the ball 2 seconds before or after they freezed it. So there's always going to be question marks about it, and it's not to dismiss United, but
No,
luckily it was
no.
all in one frame. You could see it. It didn't even. I've seen tighter ones than this one. To be fair, like it was literally line on line, but there's been so much of the line has been overlapping, and they've not given. So there should be.
There
It's
was
such a
separation.
difficult
There
one
was a
because
gap between the lines, right?
yeah, it is fine margins, but again,
There's a gap.
yeah, it said we've had to deal with Brentford last season where the guy's offside, and
Oh,
we've had to deal with that. So I'm not really feeling any sympathy for United at
Geeks,
all,
enjoy
unfortunately.
your 5K run, bro. Have a
Yeah,
good
I
one.
just see that. There's some good bit of banter in here as well. But as a serious fan, saying, how can geeks run 5,000 meters in 1 minute? Ah, dude, you not kill me. But
Oh
yeah,
my god.
it's
Oh,
we're gonna.
what?
God,
No, I was just saying that 13 minutes for 5K. Freaking heck.
that's mad.
I did a half marathon yesterday, you know, the big half, like
Oh,
the
did
London
you?
big half. Yeah, it was torture, mate. It was
So when did
steaming
you do that
hot.
before the game?
Yeah, yesterday
Oh,
was an
Tanner,
absolute
you're a legend.
nightmare.
You're a
Listen, I had
legend.
to get up first thing, started the run at 10 to
So
10.
I'm not ignoring you. I just got to turn my camera off 1 second. Give me 1 second. We
Yeah,
carry on talking.
yeah. So basically, I had to kind of start the run at 10 to 10, started on time, which was great. 2 hours later, finished the run, rushed back to West London, shower, change, drive to Piccadilly line on the train to the Arsenal and then watch the game. And mate, my heart yesterday must have been in bits, mate, from the run and the pressure that Arsenal gave me. Flip's sake. But yeah, listen, I want to talk Gumsa pretty much really about our signings.
Yeah, I was
Now
gonna
that
do it because
now
we're
that
through the first month, haven't we? And international breaks. It's quite a nice time to review a
yeah,
few things. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, obviously the big news is that Timber.
Mm.
Well, let's focus first on, I guess, on the incomings and the incomings obviously with Timber, Rice, Raya, and Havertz. I was going to say who's
Don't
the other
forget my
one?
boy. Don't forget my boy. Yeah, nah. We came
Um,
out. We came out on fire, didn't we? With the signings, we just went Havertz
Bam, bam.
in
And
a
that's the
couple of
way.
weeks.
That's the way we want it done. Yeah,
I think
sod this.
the only negative with that is because you're still hearing lots of links out there in this person. Leaves you wanting more. So I remember the Wenger way of doing it. Wenger used to always leave something for deadline day just to keep the
Yeah.
fans quiet. Whereas we've got it done early, but then everything's going on. You're thinking, come on, surely more. Then you start seeing players
I
move,
had
and you're
some
like,
people saying that, oh, it's a poor transfer window. We should have done
but
something here and there. I don't listen, mate. You know, I think if the transfer window had shut on the 1st of August or whatever it was, or whenever we signed our last player, we all would have been happy.
mm,
I think
mm.
and all this talk about we need another defender, and I don't think we do. If anything, we probably need someone to play who's probably a bit more potent to play to start challenging Saka
Yeah, I
because
think,
yesterday he was absolutely knackered, and that's
yeah,
why that second one, what he side footed back to an that's why I missed that. He was shot. He was
mm,
shot to bits.
yeah. I think the Timber injuries killed us. I think if Timber doesn't get injured, we view this completely different. But I think because of the injury, Gabriel not starting the season, Partey at right
Well,
back,
you know, you
it's
understand
almost
why
like
Gabriel
so. What
the
is
issue
the
there.
what is actually the issue? Because I've heard teams were coming in from me. Maybe he wanted to leave. Now I also heard that he was not happy with his contract
I think
because
that's the thing. I think Arsenal fucked up. Well, I shouldn't really swear.
yes,
Arsenal messed up in the summer, didn't they? Because we renewed Gabriel, we renewed Saliba and
mm,
Saka. Now Saliba, obviously, he's just played the waiting game.
mm,
Because what Gabriel says, yeah, no, I'm happy to sign, but you know,
yeah,
whatever. Do you know what I mean? Where do I sign? And he signs, and he gets a wage increase, which quite
mm,
rightly he should. And the only thing is, though, his wage increase goes from whatever it was 60 grand or whatever up to 100 grand, which is obviously a fair wage
not bad wage,
increase. However,
not bad wage.
huh?
Saliba. Saliba.
Yeah, exactly. However, Saliba comes in, he's getting 40 odd grand, and he goes up to 160.
Mm. But
If you're Gabriel and you're the senior member of that
mm,
that duo at the back, you're thinking you guys are taking a mick here.
mm,
And then you kind of thinking, what are they not thinking that I'm worth what Saliba is or
mm,
whatever? All those things come into play.
yeah.
And then when someone then from Saudi or whoever says, we'll easily give you that 160
And more.
and more.
Get out a
Because
day.
in Saudi, you get that every an hour, flipping it. But when someone kind of plants that little seed into your head's going to get turned.
Yeah.
And I think that literally has happened. So obviously, Arteta being Arteta, which he has to kind of stick to his guns to a point, in the sense that if your head's turned and your head's not right about playing for Arsenal, you can't play.
Can't play, yeah. And we can't celebrate it when he done it to Aubameyang. Even at the time, we didn't like it, and we look back and said he made the right decision.
Yeah.
You can't then criticize him if he does it again. I think it was because you have Gabriel on the bench. It was a bit weird. But
everyone's thinking, why? Stop tweaking it. Stop playing. But there's certain things you've got to do for the greater good.
Yeah. But also, I think it has a lot resting on Zinchenko as well. I think he obviously wants an invert somewhere. Because you let Tierney go, you play Tomiyasu at left back again after Zinchenko come off. So he wants an invert. So he's probably looking at if Zinchenko's not playing, if Tomiyasu's not there, I need someone to do it. So hence why Partey then plays. So I think that has a lot to do with the starting 11. Apart like recently, Gabriel's obviously been taken out for Gabriel reasons.
Yeah.
But I think Partey played right back because of no Zinchenko and no Tomiyasu. I think if them two are fit, we probably didn't see Partey at right back.
Tomiyasu's fit.
He hasn't
been all season. Suspended for one game.
Is he suspended?
Yeah, remember he got the 2 yellows against Palace, so he's suspended for the Fulham game.
Yeah. You're right. But it's going to be interesting what happens. I think now we're settling. I think we'll see the usual suspects at the back now. They're all fit. But with regards to the window, I think because we've done our business so early, I love the way we do it early. But it leaves a bit of like I want a bit more towards the end. And I know the remit was get players out and we can look again. And I think this is the biggest issue with Arsenal is
I think it happened a bit too young, innit? Too late.
Yeah, and it's getting value for them. We're not getting good value at all. Like obviously we've done well with Balogun for a guy who was about to walk out on a free 2 years ago.
But did we? Did we? I'm gonna say to you, if Atalanta are getting 70 mil from Man United for Højlund, who scored less than half the amount of goals than what Balogun did.
Do you know, everything's about power. And I think this even goes with the Gabriel and Saliba conversation. Gabriel's negotiating with 3 years left on his contract. Saliba's negotiating with 1 year left.
You can't keep a player like that on 60 grand.
No. You have to give him a new contract, but
it doesn't matter if he's got like 5 or 10 years left.
Hear me out. If I'm the club, I'm not rushing because you got 3 years.
Well, you'll be if we're in the transfer window.
Saliba's got 1. I'll have to panic because Saliba's sitting there and saying, "You pay me my 160, or I walk out on a free next year." Because PSG would pay the money for Saliba and still give him 200,000 a week, let alone get him on a free. That 100 million I'd have to spend on the transfer, I'll give 50 million of that to you in your wages. So he's negotiating from a position of power. Don't get me wrong, Gabriel might have just say he's got 3 years left on 40 grand or 60 grand. Listen, look, all you're doing is adding an extra year to your contract. You're getting £40,000 extra. So you probably think, all right, yeah, cool, makes sense. I'll sign it. I want to stay here. But again, everything's negotiations in position of power. You would have seen the Jordan documentary with the Scottie Pippen, what he took, and people were saying this guy's crazy, but he's looking at it like I can look after my family with this, not realizing if I hold on for another year, I'm quadrupling this amount of money. So it is about power and just playing the waiting game sometimes with a contract. And yeah, you negotiate from a position of power. And I don't fault in Arsenal if Gabriel's going to accept 100,000. Why am I not going to give you 100,000? Like, I'm not mad at them for it. However, if he was to really throw his toys at the pram and want to leave, I'd go crazy. He's thinking, why didn't you just give him the extra 20, 30,000? Now you have to replace him,
You know what?
embed somebody else in.
It could come down to a matter of principle on Gabriel's side.
Yeah.
That's
But I
what
think, you know what? If you're Arteta and Edu, you say, fair enough, do you know what? We've done you a bit dirty. Let's sit down, back around the table soon. And you know what I mean? Just give you the extra 25. He's worth it. He's worth it. Like, do you know what I mean? It'd be stupid to break up that
absolutely. I mean,
partnership. You got
he's
over 20 grand a week. Like, it's not 20, 30 grand a week. Yeah, you pay it. You got to pay it. You got to give him his money, really. But yeah, but apart from that, I think the outgoings are a bit disappointing. Like you're saying, Balogun's not really much money, but again, it's the nature of how he's maneuvering. If he's sitting there saying, "I'm happy at Arsenal, I'm happy to stay, I want to fight," Arsenal say, right, for him to be sold, we're now talking 60s. But the fact I don't want to be here unless I'm playing, I'm not going to start, I want to leave, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If I'm in my position, say, look, he's not happy there, he's not going to play. This is what I'm offering you. And again, it's then if you're looking around, where's all the money at the moment? A lot of the money's in England. So yeah, I probably could have got 50, 55 for him, but now I'm sending him to Chelsea or Tottenham.
Yeah.
So you know, I'll take a bit less and let him go over there. We got the clause in there for, do you know what I mean, some money at the end if they sell him or whatever they sell him for. I would have put a buyback in, if possible. I would have happily lost 5-10 mil to put a buyback in there, even for that nature. If he has another good year or 2 good year, I'll buy him back and someone else come and buy him off me. A bit like what PSG are doing with Xavi Simons now, where they're just buying back, loaning him back out, and then because I think they only made like
isn't
5 mil.
that the player has to agree?
I think so. But no, I think Xavi Simons didn't have much of a choice, in all honesty. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it'd be interesting.
Where is he now? Is he at PSV or gone back to PSG?
No, he went PSG, and then they loaned him out to Leipzig straight away. They brought him back for, I think it was silly money. It was like 6 mil. So for them, that's a 35 million pound player. So they brought him back for 6, and then they loaned him straight out. And that's the ruthlessness of football sometimes, isn't it? It's like, again, I look at the players we lost, Benacer, Donnell Marlon, Gabriel, all have good careers, and we haven't made no money on them. We had no buybacks, we had no sell-on clauses. So we just, we really, you know what I mean?
The one that really, really, really kills me, and obviously it was years and years ago, was Andy Cole. That is the one. For Kevin, I mean, bless Kevin Campbell's cotton socks, but it was a decision basically. George Graham made on those 2 players, Campbell or Cole. Oh man, flipping neck. Could you imagine?
That's what we needed. Yeah.
Should we rattle through some of these comments? I see.
Yeah, hold on. See which one you seen.
Okay, hold up. Here we go. The double stat, going back to the referee and stuff, and I think this is right. I know we're going to switch kind of focus right now. We're talking about the referees, but the decisions. The thing is, VAR's not wrong. It's the people implementing VAR are wrong.
Yeah.
And what's going on? The whole thing with we can even talk about Fulham's City's second goal against Fulham. How is that not disallowed? I don't know if did you see it. How is that not disallowed? That is ridiculous. He's actually gone for the ball. He's in an offside position. How can he not? How can
not be play? Yeah.
And how
again,
can
if you're a keeper, you're waiting for him to do something.
And you can actually see Leno. He doesn't dive until after the ball is past Akanji. And the thing is, how can VAR not intervene and say, "Nah, that's offside"? That is ridiculous. Fair enough. You might say that you might have the lino, even though he should actually be putting his flag up or whatever anyway, because he should be able to see straight down the middle and say, "Oh, wait a minute, my man is literally on the 6-yard line when no one else is near him." It was just the whole VAR thing at the moment is just being really, really shocking. And the thing is what really peed us off. Sorry to cut in there. You know this stuff about the time wasting. You saw shifting. happens all season. That every single season they put a new directive in, and for the
Mm-hmm.
first few weeks or whatever, they stick to it like the letter of the law.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's an uproar or whatever.
Yeah, something goes
I
wrong with it and they change the
I
rule.
yeah, Tomiyasu gets second yellows, and they probably reviewed that in the PGML and just said, no, actually, he shouldn't have been sent off 2 years for that.
Mm.
If there was a appeal process, they probably would have kind of like,
Yeah, we get
rescinded one of the yellow
yeah.
cards. But because there's an uproar of that now, I don't know if you saw or you wasn't watching, but there was a lot more leniency with players being able to time waste.
Mm.
It wasn't until right to the point where it was just like Anthony Taylor's thought, you know what, I have to give the dude a yellow
Yeah.
card. That he gave the
But
keeper a yellow card.
what's really confusing on it is you've created two solutions to one problem. So you
Mm.
either clamp down and give out more yellow cards,
Or you
or
add
you
on
do the
time.
or you do the additional time. And they've done the additional time, and they're now giving out more yellow cards. And it's like you're actually almost ruining football because you're now double punishing because
Yeah,
every game's going to 100 minutes, which is cool, fine, fair enough. But then you're giving quick yellow
yeah,
cards, and again, the yellow card thing, it does frustrate me because what you can get a yellow card for compared to what else you could do. Now we bring up the obviously we spoke a little bit about Saka challenge, and obviously he was fouled before he kind of lunged in, and I do think that has an impact on Saka. On the
absolutely.
challenge, he was off balance and he's
You're out
obviously
of
trying to
control.
compete. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's not fully his fault. But then you look at the Lindelof high foot. Now I don't understand how that's not a red. Like they could say
what?
positionally
Two
he wasn't the
reasons.
last
Number
man
one
back,
is
but his boot is so high he's late and he's last man back. Like he is. Yes, Eddie has to travel a long way to score, and there was someone in the middle of the pitch who, if they're fast enough,
yeah, you
could
would have got
impact.
shot off.
Yeah, he definitely would have got shot off. So I don't understand how that's a yellow, and I can get a yellow for taking 6 seconds, like to throw a ball. It's
Make it make sense, mate.
yeah, it's a bit it's a bit crazy. I'm not sure how you address it. My thing with the VAR stuff is the wording.
Mm.
Clear and obvious error is stating that you've made an error, and fair play to for them for the Arsenal penalty because I do feel they got it right. I think it wasn't enough for a penalty, but for VAR to intervene, they have to be telling the referee you've made an error, which now calls into the referee's ego of you've made a mistake. We're gonna bail you out, and this is
Yeah,
the big problem. I watch NFL. NFL has 5 referees on, so someone's gonna make a mistake somewhere or get it wrong. There's an orange flag. If I think something's gone wrong, I throw the orange flag. So to take away the pressure off the referee, he might not be able to see something. Then VAR have seen
oh,
it
the
and said
coach
that
can
may
throw
be a
an orange
penalty.
flag.
So I think the referee should be able to throw an orange flag, say, I haven't seen it properly. I'm not too sure. Can you have a look at it? The game will keep playing on, but I flagged something. Now they can have a look and say, actually, we've looked at it. The game's still playing. Nothing there. Fine, keep the game playing. Or actually, just put the game to a halt. You might need to have a look at this. That takes
Yeah,
away the wording of you've made an error. And that's the biggest problem with VAR for me in England is because you're calling out the referee's decision on making an error. And referees want to stick together. And things haven't been given because they didn't want
well,
to say the referee made an
you
error.
saw that thing with what's his name,
Yeah, he didn't want to let his
Taylor
mate.
and
He didn't want to pull his mate. Yeah, he didn't want to out his
yeah,
mate in the match. And again, if you change
ridiculous.
the wording and actually saying we're here to help the referee, not we're here to correct his mistakes,
Yeah,
then actually he won't feel offended if you pull him up or say, I think you've missed something or whatever it is. But again, the
exactly.
orange flag, because he can't see everything, the linesmen can't see everything.
Yeah,
So actually give them assistance. If they think, say, I think I've seen something, why we got video referees, that's because he can go back and watch it. Like, do you know what I mean? There's so for me, it's actually let's have that. So before, even if the Havertz things go through, he could flag an orange flag to say there could be a penalty there. I'm not sure.
yeah,
Could be a penalty. Let the game play on. Actually, it's not a penalty. Keep playing, or you need to go back and look at it. I think that would help
yeah.
referees and the AR maybe intervene a bit more because yeah, it's even hear them after the game, like they're defending their referee. Do you know what I mean? Everyone can see it's a penalty, and he's like, "Well, no, I think VAR is right not to intervene because it's not a clear and obvious error." And it's like, "Hold on, that's a penalty.
Yeah,
Like, it's a penalty."
it's that
So
tit sticking up from his body, and
yeah, 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 and we're all gonna do it. It's like, do you know what I mean? Wenger used to stick up for Arsenal players non-stop. Like Vieira's going in with
he didn't
2 feet in the air and throwing a punch, and Vieira's saying, "I didn't see." Wenger said, "I didn't see anything." Like I'm not gonna out him. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes, yeah, it is the wording. And it was. I'm not sure if you saw the video in France where it was like a lot more transparent, and the referee, I think he said a player was dived or one or the other. He made a mistake and he gave out yellow cards because the other team was going crazy, and he gave out like 2 yellow cards to players for their protest. And then VAR called him in and said, "You need to work it again." And he looked at it, and he's like, "Jesus!" But he's gone back out and he's apologized to both players, and he said, "You're completely right. I've made a mistake. I rescind your yellow cards." And it's like there was no ego. That's
Wow.
the big difference. It was he had no ego, the referee, and it makes
Yeah.
such a difference. Like, and for me, that's the biggest thing I think with it all. The referees in England are untouchable. I understand respecting the referees. I understand refereeing is not an easy job. However,
No,
we
but
almost it's almost like
it's
you know
like,
how they protect keepers sometimes, where a keeper can't be touched.
yeah,
Like
or
you've
anything
set
in the
yourself
air,
up to
whatever, you
fail.
can't challenge them
Yeah,
and blah blah blah. But the thing is, though, it's like they've got so much things in place now for to aid them to come to the correct decision.
mm.
But now you got
But you don't want to use it, and that's the problem. They don't want to
yeah,
use
but
it.
the competencies then go to another level when
Mm.
even you've got
But
the
the thing is,
retrospective kind of to
yeah,
have a
but
look.
and if you look why they're not using it, it's because they don't want to out their friend, and that's the reason why they're not going to use it. Because I
Yeah.
don't want it to. Because there was a little bit of a touch there, so it could be a penalty. So we're not going to say the referee's wrong because he's got it, because it could be a penalty, and that's the problem.
Then
Is
it
because
then it comes down to their own interpretation of the
mm,
game or what that actually happened, what has actually happened, and is that correct
yeah,
rather than the letter of the law of the game?
yeah, 100%, and it just leaves question marks. I hope
It's
the whole
murky,
thing.
isn't it? It's murky.
Yeah, the whole thing with if he gives a yellow card, and that was the issue because again, if he gives a yellow card, VAR can't intervene. Whereas in France, when the guy gave out 2 yellow cards, VAR said you're wrong, and
That
he
was
took the yellow
crazy,
cards back.
actually. Yeah,
And
we
and this is the
actually
problems
these guys
because
should. I think yellow cards should be able
because
to be kind of returned
imagine if I
for the
dive.
penalty.
Imagine if you think I dived, you give me a yellow card, and if
Yeah.
VAR looks at it, actually you've been wiped out, but the referee hasn't seen it. I can't now readdress that because you've given the yellow, so I can't actually
Well,
take
what
it
if
back.
that's your second yellow?
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. We need to give them the tools, and we need to support them rather than protect them. I think
Yeah,
protecting them is the worst thing you can do because you're not holding anyone really accountable, and it's like a boys' club, isn't it? It's yeah,
absolutely.
you need to look
Flipping heck,
into.
I
But
can just
right,
imagine them there.
let's move on from
But
there, Cadence, because we can keep
yeah,
talking about all day. Let's get into let's go quickly. What would you make of? Hold on, let me get rid of that comment quickly. Obviously, our first 4 games are gone. Beat Forest 2-1. Palace we won 1-0. Drawn with Fulham and then beat United 3-1. What's the most impressive result there for you?
the 1-0 Palace game.
Palace. You know what? I was agreeing. I mean, kind of agreeing with you. Why does that one make it impressive? Why that one for you?
It's a horrible place to go
Mm,
on a Monday night. One,
hmm
two, we went down to 10 men, and three, we just really dug that
mm,
victory out,
yeah.
and I just think it was a really good coming together. It wasn't fluid football, whatever, but it's just sometimes you know what you have to really just kind of like batten down the hatches and
Mm,
stuff, and get a victory.
yeah.
Just smash and grab, leave with the 3 points. I mean, do you know what? That's the kind of game that Man City would win.
Mm, mm. And that
Do you know
them
what I'm
they're the
saying?
kind of games years ago we we used to draw or
No,
lose in.
no, 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 no. 20 minutes with 10 men. Come
Yeah,
on,
no way we see it now.
come
And
on.
obviously this is how the table's now looking. We're joint on 10 points with West Ham, Liverpool, and Tottenham.
Flipping heck.
3 wins and a draw. Obviously, City are top, the only team with a 100% record, and Brighton are just below us with 9 points. Obviously, they've lost the game where we haven't. So, is it? How do you think that? Ideally, you'd want the 12 points. Obviously, beating United and dropping points at Fulham or at home to Fulham is kind of a killer. However, it's not being the most. As much as we was in total control pre-season, we were in good position. We
Yeah.
started the season with a lot of question marks, I think, and I think has that played a part? So taking 3 wins and a draw out of that, is it damaging or are you pretty optimistic?
Do you know, look, I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty optimistic, but such are the levels that Man City's set. I'm that little bit disappointed that we haven't entered this international break with maximum points.
Mm.
I think we should have. I think we just kind of lost concentration that little bit in that second goal. But yeah, it's just a little bit kind of like, I don't want to. I hope at the end of the season we don't want to be saying, yeah, Fulham at home was a killer.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So yeah, it's just one of those ones. At the moment, I'm just thinking, I'm just waiting for, after 10 games, we're nearly halfway there anyway. But after 10 games, we have a little bit of a shakedown.
Yeah.
Definitely after 15, you have pretty much okay. Now who's going to be challenging for the league.
Yeah.
But I think all these 4 games are winnable.
I was going to say that. What do you reckon for the next 4? Everton, PSV.
We've got. I'm glad we're playing Everton early on where it should be still quite sunny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to go there.
Yeah, because whenever we go, they always play there at night, and when it's like wet or whatever, and it just seems to suit them. Just they bring us down to their level and stuff. But yeah, it would be look. We've got 3 home games there out of the 4, right? So
yeah,
we should be looking to pick up maximum points.
Definitely. Which of those fixtures? Which one are you looking forward to the most? Is it the Champions League game or the Spurs game?
I think, do you know what? Obviously, yeah, the Spurs being, North London derby and all that, and there's always that. Funny enough, I actually hate those games. Going to watch them, I can't unless we're 2-0 up with 90 seconds to go. I can't enjoy them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know? Even I was talking to someone the other day, and they were like the Arsenal United game, and I was like, do you know, I'm so glad we got them early at home first and beat them. I said, because you know what, them doing a double over us, I hate it. So it's like when we go into that second fixture, when we were at home second leg, it's added pressure because they beat us at Old Trafford. So it's like, they can't do the double over me. Like I couldn't take that in a season. So I'm kind of glad we got that one out of the way. So when we go to Old Trafford, it's kind of pressure's off almost. It's like if you beat us or we both won at our home grounds, so what? Whereas if we beat them, it's even sweeter. So all the pressure is going to be heaped on them when we go to Old Trafford now. And same for Spurs. I think we beat them at home. As much as sometimes we want the home games later in the season. Those 2 teams, I'd rather them early and get the 3 points on the board against them. And do you know what I mean? At worst, we both come out of a win each. And if we get 4 points on them, then it's even better. And if we get 6, then just block me. If you're a Tottenham or United fan, just block me.
I think we just. Oh, a minute.
News in.
Wow.
If they don't take it, they're crazy.
30-year-old, isn't it?
Yeah. To be fair, you take the 150 with the window still open. I didn't like Paul Merson's comments. It makes perfect sense, but I didn't like it when he's giving them ideas. Take the 200 for Salah and put 150 on the table for Saka. Like, no, Merson, don't give them ideas.
But Saka wouldn't go anyway.
Nah, he wouldn't go out there. But yeah, for me, you take that all day. I can't see how you're not taking that.
But
money
then again, would Arsenal say, all right, we'll take 150?
Different stages in their career, though, isn't it? I think that's the difference. If Mo Salah's 22, then I'm not taking 250.
No. I'm saying, would Arsenal accept 150 from Liverpool for Saka?
I don't think so, but surely there's players out there you can get for some of that money. This was this is what I was hoping for. Saudi club coming for Pepe, but it sounds like he's going to Turkey. I think Besiktas, and it's like 2.5 mil or something.
I think how it works out is that it's pretty much whatever he's owed for the remainder of his contract. That is how much we'll be getting for him.
Right.
So we won't lose any money.
It's almost like we're just terminating the contract.
Right now we're just it's like depreciation. It's like a car in it kind of thing where it's just like, you know what, you can buy up. You can own the car in it at the end of the lease.
Mr. Fulbright said if Salah's worth 215, Saka's worth 300. I agree. Agree with me.
Absolutely,
I'm not going to
absolutely.
deny that at all. I'm not going to say that. But yeah, right. Canners, we're going to have to wrap this up. Well, then we can go on for a while
No.
and see each other in a little while.
I know, man. But it's lovely when you and I come together, man.
Yeah,
It's
it's all
we,
good.
we could just talk football
Yeah,
all.
that's it. That's it.
I was gonna say all
But
day, but all evening long.
before we go there, let's put a score on it. What would you rate the window out of 10, and then also what would you kind of rate our first 4 games out of 10?
I'll give it two fat ladies, 88, eight
Ooh,
and
number
eight.
8. Not bad. Even with the sales,
Yeah.
or not? You've been
Yeah, I'm gonna. Do you know what? I think it was imperative that what we did in the transfer market is like. Could you imagine if we didn't get Declan Rice this year,
mm,
right? Um, and Party's got injured,
mm,
and we're
yeah,
going to that game with Havertz and Jorginho in the middle of the park.
yeah. It's a different game, isn't it?
Yeah, and sorry, Tony. I know we wanted to talk Party, but and speaking of Party, I actually think he's it'd be good to see in my view, it'd be good to see Party and Rice in the midfield together. I think that would be quite formidable.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for. We saw it against City, and we saw the difference
And I
it made.
think he has to play Gabriel. But yeah, in terms of the ins and outs, what would you give it?
Um, the ins are good. I'll be honest. There will be a question mark over Havertz, especially when you see what Madison's doing. I think that transfer has absolutely killed Arteta. Because there's someone who was available for cheaper,
He's an Arsenal fan as well.
and yeah, yeah. So I think that transfer, if Madison doesn't move, and you're only saying right, it's Mason Mount or Tillemans, I think people aren't as angry with the Havertz thing. But when you see Mount doing what he's doing, it puts the pressure on.
Mount or Madison?
Sorry, Madison. Sorry, we see what
I was going
Madison's
to
doing.
say
Yeah, yeah,
Mount.
not Mount. Mount
Flipping
ain't
egg.
done nothing. But Timber, I think, brilliant signing. David Rare to get that done, how they've got that structured is amazing. Um, and Declan Rice again. Obviously, you paid top dollar for him, but it's a statement signing, which we haven't
Listen,
seen in a long time.
how? Oh, there was a couple of tackles he did on like one I remember on Martial and two, and I think he did one on Casemiro, and they were crunching tackles. And I just thought,
Yeah, that's what you need.
that's what we need.
That's what you need, and it's a statement.
I
And again,
think
them players aren't coming cheap either, are they? To get a DM at the moment is difficult. Chelsea have signed Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez for big money. Casemiro cost United quite a lot, and he was coming to the end of his career. There's not many. We've seen what the impact Fernandinho and Rodri have on City, and the importance of them. Busquets, another one, the importance of those kind of players. So,
I think Rice can be our Rodri,
mm, mm,
but
mm,
better. I
yeah,
think he
yeah,
can be better. And
yeah.
listen, Rodri, I think is absolutely top
He's
draw.
top class, isn't he? Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll give the window a 7, and it's more to do with our outgoings. I think that's where we struggled again. I think things will get better in time to come. But I think that's our
I'm
Achilles
seeing some
heel.
outlandish numbers here for our window, guys.
Yeah, it's a
Flipping
couple
heck.
of fights.
Mr. Fulbrook, yes, we will talk Party next time. Uh, Mr. The silver one, I'm rating this at 5 out of 10, selling the holder for 1 million plus 2.5 in adders. Listen,
Crime against football.
it's a listen. The guy is yeah. Look, I think that was a Holden. We want you to play football, and you're not
Mm.
going to get it here.
To be
That
fair,
was
United should have come in for him because if you're playing Johnny Evans, you might as well just brought Holding. In all honesty.
for that. Flip connect. Yeah, absolutely would be good to see Party fit. 5 out of 10. Brendan, man, you got to tell me, man, why it's 5 out of 10. Sheesh. Yeah, as Tony said, I think Holding was Arsenal paying for his loyalty. But
Yeah,
why am I seeing 5 out of 10 for our window? Brendan, what and
I think it's because of the
everyone,
injury. I think it's because of the
what
injury
you
to
give him for
Timber.
our start on the pitch?
Start on the pitch. I'll give it points wise. It's a 7. Stylistically,
Oh,
it's
stylistically, it's poor.
yeah, it's a 5. We haven't come into again. You can see there's been some question marks in there. We haven't started off like I know Sinchenko hasn't been fit, Jesus hasn't been fit, but um,
Next time I'll tell him.
I just want to see Arsenal have a bit more killer instinct. We don't kill games off, man. Well,
Mm.
Yeah, United's the first time like this season we've kind of hit a team up, but and again that was just smashing. Like we scored the second, and then they had to attack. We caught them,
And
but
then it was a
I want to
breakaway kind of
see.
thing.
I want to see us kill team. Like again, City relentless hit fives, Liverpool relentless sometimes. Like
Yeah.
I need to see that more from Arsenal. And we never seem to just be comfortable in a game. Even at 2-0, we seem to make a game of it. Whereas at 2-0, I want to see us go out in the second half and score another two in the first 15 minutes. And then now we can relax. So, yeah, for me, star wise, I'd give it a six. I haven't been overly impressed, but we got 10 points on the board. So we move.
Well, Flathead Media
So,
seems to agree with you, Gumsa.
yeah,
Great transfer window. Agree with the 7 out of 10 assessment. I actually think it was. I actually rated it. Listen, the problem with selling it, you can't. It's all about supply and demand, isn't it? And the
mm,
players that we had in supply weren't in demand, obviously.
yeah,
Now, that's because they haven't done whatever they're supposed to have done for years, and they're part of the dregs basically that we're trying to cast off, and everybody knows that. They come on big wages, so we're pretty much trying to rectify the wrongs that have gone on the
yeah,
managers or the backroom staff as years gone by. Now,
mm,
what I actually applaud from the club is, as first and foremost, we got our business done early so they can start
mm,
pre-season. Um, uh, yeah, listen, the one for Saka, that's the only one I would say yes. We needed someone who can play on the right side. Do you know what I mean? That's the only one. Whether or not they, do you remember we applauded them, right, for sticking to a target, and if we didn't get that target, we'd not getting anyone.
mm,
I can't remember who it was, but I remember there was a massive debate where we kind of said, look, we had a target, we couldn't get him. I don't know if it is if it was
yeah,
I can't remember who it was, but and I think it was the same in this case. I think we had a target. It may have been Rafinha. We couldn't get him. I think they would really love to have Rafinha to play on the right and to challenge Saka and to have,
that,
because the problem is what I find is that there's not too many players out there in the world who are A, as good as Saka, or B, who play off that right side with the kind of way that
yeah,
Arsenal play.
mm,
And I don't think Arteta wants to head down straight at you players, as having Martinelli off the left and another Martinelli-esque kind of player on the right as
mm,
well. Um, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I just think that we've done quite well this transfer. We was all talking about how excited we was, man,
I
when
think it's
Timber
Timber's
came in.
injury. I think Timber's injuries knocked some stuffing out of us.
Yeah,
I really do. And then I think in our head we all had certain areas we feel needed addressing. I think even if you look at centre mid, the eight position, like obviously there was all the talk of Partey leaving, so it was almost like, well, we're short. We need he
mm,
stays, but everyone now in their head thinks we need something else. Tierney walking out the door, not bringing another left back. Because I don't know if we see Kirill playing there or who knows, but it seems like we've only got one left back at the club now. Um, Ben White obviously starting centre back, then holding Lee. So it's like if Ben White goes back out to the right, we're short of a centre back still. So there's lots of premonitions, but again, there's a lot of movement within our ranks where obviously Kirill can play left back and centre back. Ben White can play centre back and right back. We still got Cedric Suarez, which people aren't very happy about.
I think
And
he's going.
yeah,
I think he's close to going.
yeah. And so I think Timber fixed a lot of those little problems we had. Um, so 'cause again, it has been mentioned the connection Ben White has with Bukayo Saka. So if there is an injury to Saliba, say, or he's suspended, you don't have to disrupt Ben White because you could put Timber centre back next to Gabriel. So I think these are like little things. Timber covered a lot of those little kind of issues. He can invert. He's very tidy inside, so it means Partey doesn't have to be the inverted player.
Yeah.
Timber seemed to fix a lot of issues. So it was a wonderful signing. I think he's going to be like a utility belt, and he's just going to do so much of everything for us. So he's going to be a big, big miss. So yeah, he's. I think that's the big issue. But again, there's not many players like that out there. So again, like you said earlier, do you go and buy someone, spend more money, put wages on the bill for someone who's not going to be useful for you in 6 months' time, or do you just wait it out and see if the right player comes along, or if you could develop somebody to do that job? So
I think now you
yeah,
have to start because now we've probably got rid of most of the players that we wanted to get rid of. Now we have to be very, very selective in who we buy.
yeah,
We have to make, and it's just, there's certain phases in their process what they're doing. I think now they're just about to start moving on to the next phase where they are actually where you will just probably have one or two big signings per season.
That's all you need. Yeah, our squad's quite thick, so you only need to now really improve. Whereas before we've had to build the squad whilst improve it.
Yeah.
Now it's just about putting the finishing touches in place, isn't it?
Exactly.
So your Declan Rices now, it's those sort of players. Maybe you only get one or two players in next window, but they're game changers. Them two players.
Absolutely, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Mbappe next season, then next summer.
Project Mbappe. I love it.
Oh dear. Yes. So, well, I think we've covered everything, haven't we, for the start of the season?
Yeah.
Get rid of
Nice.
Pepe and Cedric.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A killer. That's
Absolutely.
a killer. Excellent. Right, Canners. Let's get out of here before we start another topic.
I know.
It's been a pleasure. I still don't understand why we have an international break so early in the season. It does my head in. Absolutely does my head in. But this is we get through
when
it.
we come back, things really get real.
Yeah, that's it. Definitely Champions League music. It's been a long time we waiting to hear that. So yeah. Guys, thank you for staying with us. It's been a long stream, but I really appreciate the comments have been flying all day.
Appreciate it, Tony. Thank you so much for everyone's participation. I mean, look, we're obviously trying to get you to read out all the comments and stuff. Obviously, we skim through loads, but listen, it's the you guys interacting what makes this work. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah,
if you haven't, please smash the likes and subscribe if you haven't.
And for us, we are out of here.